All right, good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren, the Director of Training and Marketing here at Alta Realty Group. And today we're going to go over some momentum trends and several other things with broker Bill Sites. Let's just bring Bill on the line. Good morning, Bill. How are you today?
Good morning, Kevin.
All right.
Let's see if I can get the camera on my camera. I'm doing that.
You got this, Billy.
Oh my God. You know what it is? I think I figured it out. There's a separate, if I sign in as an attendee, I don't know if it triggers the camera is what it is.
Well, guess what? Let's just go ahead and make you not just an attendee, let's make you a panelist. All right, you've been promoted.
Video.
Yeah, so hey, there's Billy, the
Charlie,
man, the myth, the
aka
legend.
Charlie.
All
Good, good,
right, so you
good
do
morning,
exist. You're not just
everybody.
a robot.
No, I'm a real person.
Okay, all right, cool.
Uh, awesome. I think we figured that out because we tried it before and it was like, it said like as an attendee, then I would try to log in a different way, but it was asking like I think for your kind of credentials. So maybe
Right.
I
Okay,
think
now we know.
we
Okay,
figured it out. So
love it.
technology at its best.
There you go, pal.
Anyways, you're looking good this morning, Kevin.
Likewise, brother.
Welcome everybody to Wednesday webinar number 2 of the new year. So as we start really getting into January and the market seems to be kind of revving up a little bit. I'm seeing more phone calls, more seems like agents are getting busier, so that's good news. Um, we did do a quick Tuesday tip, and that was more about me, just of a reminder of just, you know, are you an enjoyable agent to work with? I find it very noticeable when you are somebody that are in this business or service industry that is positive, has a good outlook on things, um, does a great job for their clients. And since we are in a service industry, it's just a good reminder to, even if we're not having the best day, to show up with a smile, have great energy, have that reflect in your business and the service you're providing. It's going to trigger more lead or more referrals, more opportunities, and that to me is super important. It's something that we control every day as we get out there in the world, and nothing's worse than just dealing with a grumpy person with a negative attitude, and you're just like, how do you get business? Like, how do you function in this industry that we operate in? So that was the reminder. It's a good thing to think about as we move into the new year. Um,
That's a great one, Bill. You know what? It's easier said than done, right? But you gotta just, you suck it up and you gotta be that positive, person, or at least not negative, right? You just
yeah, I
have to,
mean, we all have
emote that, goodwill and that good energy, right?
For sure. I mean, we all have, some days are better than others, but we don't want to bring that stuff into our business, into our professional business. And and it's easier for some than others, to have that energy, right? It takes a lot of energy to do that stuff. And for some people it comes very naturally. So for some people it doesn't. But it is noticeable, I think, for people who are aware, and it's something to think about, as we just go about our daily tasks and lives.
Well said.
All right. So, Kevin, we wanted to, did you get the Instagram or no?
I did. Let me
Okay.
share that with you
I,
guys.
I like this one. We'll talk about it after. This is our little funny clip of the morning here.
I only got to see like the very beginning of it, but it's looked pretty good. So let's see if we can fire it up.
Wait,
Hold on.
yes. Start it over if you can.
I might know something.
I might know something too.
What's the thing you know?
Oh no, I can't tell you until you tell me what you know.
I can't tell you what I know.
Well, then I can't tell you what I know.
Okay, fine. Do you know something?
Do you know something?
I might know something.
I might know something too.
What's the thing you know?
Oh no, I can't tell you until you tell me what you know.
I can't tell you what I know.
Well, then I can't tell you what I know.
Okay, fine.
They're calling the new art of orange.
So,
Wait a minute. Okay.
naturally, this is a buyer's agent talking to a listing agent or vice versa. And we've all been there when you're, obviously, and it's my opinion. I always, when agents ask me about, presenting offers and negotiating, I always say, hey, get as much information as you can on the front side. That way, you know how to prepare the offer that'll be more likely to be accepted. In this case, you can see that they're trying to get information from each other, right? They're trying to see what the buyer probably can come up to, how much they're gonna, the listing side is trying to get that information. He's trying to get the information from maybe there's multiple offers. So that was a funny one. I've been in that situation so many times, and nobody likes a multiple counter situation, but those who have been there can appreciate that little.
100%, Bill. I might know something. Do you know something?
Yeah, what do you know? Give me something. Builder opportunity. I had a nice chat with one of our agents, Shannon Fopiano. She is up in the LA area. This is actually a great property. I think I sent you the address, Kevin.
Yeah, let me pull that
Um,
up for you.
it's near Westwood Village in LA. Yep, there we go. At 10544 Wellsworth Ave. This is not going active on the market for a few weeks. As you can see, there's a builder that's already built to the left there or completing the building. This is an original home built in 1935, it says,
Wow.
and it's on a 6,500 square foot lot. This is in a great location. If you're at all have investors that are, have appetite for West LA. This is just down the street from UCLA. It's in one of the best school districts. That low $2 million mark is pretty much lot value, and the sellers they have relocated to. Maybe you could just do that. Click on the picture, Kevin,
Sure.
um, and you can just give just a little virtual, a little roundabout. This
Yeah.
is in a neighborhood that many of us, have seen in certain areas, whether Southern California or Northern California, is in transition. So this is not in the maybe the like the top end of Westwood, but it's close and it's in the best school district. And so this is a great opportunity for somebody that might want to either completely gut it, take it down to the ground and rebuild. This is what's happening in the neighborhood. These things are going for $4 and $5 million if they're redone. So if you're interested in talking to Shannon, she's keeping it off the market for a few weeks, and she wanted to share that with all of you. So we can get Shannon's information out if you're interested after the meeting.
Yeah,
Uh,
just if anybody's interested, just ping me and I will make sure that you get in contact with Shannon. Easy.
Perfect. Open house opportunity in Irvine. Andrew Brown has a nice $1.3 million listing. He was looking for open house coverage. I think Sean Frieda has taken that for this weekend, but if you are in this area, this part of the world, I'm sure Andrew would appreciate any help with his open house. That's a beautiful property. I looked at it yesterday. And then next Wednesday, Kevin, we'll do our forms, a car forms update with Lauren Nowak. So there's been some changes, not a ton, which is nice. We're not going to have some crazy, uh, you know, over the top, training, but
Like last year.
yeah, when they redid everything. Um, but it'll be good for everybody to be on that webinar to just notice the little changes on that they've added and done to the forms. I would invite your TCs as well to be on that training because Lauren is a certified car forms trainer. She's also on the board of the TC, whatever the body is of that. I think she's actually started it. She's licensed. She's very knowledgeable about these forms and the intention of the changes. So if your TC would like to be on that, I encourage everybody to just forward the invite that Kevin sends out every week, and we'll make sure that everybody is welcome to come on and learn about what has changed on those forms. What else, Kevin? Sorry, kind of long-winded here this morning.
That's
Um,
okay.
Last week we talked about the Altos 2026 forecast. I know Don Kearney was on it. I saw him. Good job for Don Kearney for attending. I could see him on there, and I know he's on this webinar. So good morning, Don. Rate range. The forecast was that mortgage rates would be in that 5.75 to 6.75 range. So right now we're pricing conventional loans, people with pretty much top tier credit in that low six range, low to mid six, depending. And we'll check the 10-year in a second. Um, but they're predicting less volatility, a healthier market, which is great. They are predicting that the home price growth to slow down. Okay, but that's fine. We don't really that's not a big deal for us as agents. If the appreciation just kind of slows a little bit, that's not a big deal. And the home sales are predicted to be up by several 100,000 units. So that means opportunity for all of us who have stayed with it. And we're going to get into that in a second here as well. The key driver for rates will be the job growth market. Labor data is the most important variable in the interest rates. So, as you can see here, we've trickled down just a touch from last week. I think we're at 4.17. You can see a little tiny bump from last week. And we've just kind of been hanging around here in the low fours on the 10-year. So I think once we crack 4% and get back into the high threes, you're going to see mortgage rates be in those high five range. So that is encouraging. And FHA and VA loans are already there. So once the conventional loans are starting to get into that high five range, I think we're going to see the market really ramp up. So that was kind of the summary for Altos, and it was very positive. So that was good. And lastly, we moved our office a couple of doors down. So we do have an address change, right, Kevin?
We do have an address change. That's right. So it is now, it's literally just down the street. So now we're at 3419 Via Lido, number 652. So we'll be updating all of our stuff today. But yeah, new address.
Yep, it looked like the owners are gonna sell that building, so they are getting ready to sell it. So we have we're literally a stone's throw away, not even, I mean, we're just right there. So 3419 Via Lido, same street, just instead of 3419, and we're number 652. That's it, Kevin. I guess we've hit everything on my end.
Perfect, Bill. Well, thank you as always. Let me switch gears on us here and let me share my graphic that I've created for us today. So, what I want to talk about today is momentum and trends that smart agents are leveraging in 2026. So, we're out of 25, we're heading into 26. There's a lot of different, trends, that I see repeatedly when I'm working with agents. They're not just theoretical ideas. These are, actual patterns. And so one thing that is key is that if you recognize them and align your business with them, well, you give yourself a massive advantage for 26. So one thing that I think is really important is, your business may already be trending. You just haven't studied it yet. So what we kind of talked about at the beginning of last week in the first webinar of the year was, analyzing your business. So it's a super important step to take a look at what you did, right? So important thing in a key to growth in 26 starts with clarity around what actually is working. Sometimes we try different things. We, throw different ideas around. We, put, different things in place that we haven't. And so one of the most effective exercises that agents can do is just take a look and a really honest review of the last 3 years. Go back and look at 23, 24, 25, identify how many transactions that you closed each of those years and exactly where those came from, right? And we know most of it's referral, but analyze each transaction and do a really honest review. Did it come from your sphere of influence? Open houses, online leads, direct mail, past clients, referrals. Where specifically did they come from? Right? Really an important step because when you break this down year by year, you're going to see the patterns. and they're going to become crystal clear to you. And so when we look at these things and we identify, exactly where the business is coming from, guess what, kids? That's where your business is probably going to come from in 26. So we want to double down on those efforts. We want to make sure that those are the things that we're focusing on, going forward. So a really important step in our businesses is to, see exactly where the business came from in the past, because that's going to be where your business is most likely going to come from this year. So really an important, step. Um, so the second trend is become a lighthouse instead of standing in the spotlight, right? So a huge shift that I see in top producing agents right now is how they show up in their marketing. So the old model was, spotlight marketing. Look at me, look at my sales, look at my success, look how cool I am, right? So the new model or the new trend that we're seeing is lighthouse marketing. A lighthouse does not seek attention, it provides direction, right? So it helps people safely navigate where they want to go. So the best agents, as Bill is kind of saying, they're not making themselves the hero, they're making the client process or the solution the hero, right? So that's just a mindset change that everybody should really just think about, right? So you can see this shift clearly in how effective agents are reimagining direct mail instead of just sold postcards, right? They're telling a story. They're showing how how a home was sold or how they overcame a challenge or what they did to, get results especially in the last year, a very shifting market, a very difficult market, right? So focus is definitely not on ego. And it has been in the last, many years. It's kind of been like, hey, look at me. Look how cool I am. I'm the hottest realtor. So, you know, telling the story is a much better way to go about not only your direct mail pieces, but also your social media, right? So the same's true on the buyer side. Letters that highlight a real buyer looking in a specific neighborhood make the buyer the hero. They serve the seller because they're providing a potential solution while simultaneously creating opportunity for future listings, right? So when you're guiding, you're being the lighthouse now, you're guiding instead of bragging, people listen. And it's more genuine anyway. So when people listen, the trust grows. Trust always leads to business. And so I think that's a really, really cool trend that I want all of our agents to, notice and to implement that in your business. So do more for fewer people. That's a really cool one because 80/20 rule, there's a lot of different aspects or ways you can look at the 80/20 rule, but 20% of the people will take up 80% of your time. So another clear trend is to just move away from trying to be everything to everyone. And that goes back to, again, what we talked about last week, which is identifying your target market and who you are more effective in serving. And so when you go through that process, you're going to notice that you're able to, provide more, um, more effective information and a more effective business to a smaller number of people, and it's going to come out better and you're going to do more business. So I know it's a strange thing to think about, but every strong business has an MVP list, or sometimes we call it, your A clients or your, ABC clients. So these are the people who have done business with you. They will do business with you again and consistently refer others, right? So there's not casual contacts. These are your advocates. And so we talked a lot about last year about, taking so good care of these clients that you've gone above and beyond for these clients. So they bend over backwards for you to refer you business. And you always, make sure that you are communicating with them. You're making sure that you are, doing as much as you can for them after the sale. And it might not even, in some cases, it has nothing to do with the sale anymore. You're just providing good information and good value throughout the year for these clients, and keeping these A list or these MVPs, completely satiated with everything that they have to, everything that they need, from, a realtor's perspective. That is what really, really gets you the repeat business and the referrals. So this might be, quarterly touches that are thoughtful instead of automated. An actual, we talk about handwritten letters, handwritten notes. So effective. It goes so far. Doesn't take that long. You just bang out, 25 of them at a time. Get those things in the mail, throw a stamp on them, handwritten. You know, it also might be, private events. We talk about that. Client parties, all those things. Buy more lunches instead of buying leads, right? Take a past client out to lunch, talk about whatever, they are into. Don't just, take somebody out to lunch and just bore them with real estate. Make a solid connection with these people. Hey, I'm in your area. Mind if I take you out to, the local, whatever, the local, fish place, or whatever the thing is. And in creating these relationships with your MVPs, you want to know what kind of food they like, what kind of places they're interested in going to, right? And then make sure that you're taking them to that kind of place. Don't just take them to your favorites, right? So those are the kinds of things that, are is a powerful shift. And I'm seeing agents take that approach instead of just buying leads, or, even, buying lists and just blasting random people information. You gotta focus on the people that you know and know you. That's where the business comes from. That's where the repeat business comes from. And our best agents are doing that. So prompting for progress, not just content. So AI, let's just face it, it's not a trend. It's an inflection point. It's here. It's really amazing. Bill and I were on a webinar yesterday where this company was using AI to, spit out all different kinds of data, for marketing and for our business, and it blew my mind. And everything about AI blows my mind. So, like every major shift, the advantage goes to those who learn to use the AI in the best way. So, the agents seeing the biggest gains, not just using AI to write listing descriptions or social media, which is very important, but they're also using it to think better, to plan better, to prepare better. Structured prompting makes all the difference. And I'm finding in my own, use of AI, the better I get at prompting and making those prompts really, really specific, that's where the key is. So, defining the role you want the AI to play, and making it do exactly what you want it to do, that's where the magic of AI is, right? So, this approach turns AI into a strategic partner instead of just some novelty thing. Oh, that was neat. It spit out, a listing description, right? So, and voice activation is another underutilized opportunity. So, practicing listing presentations, role playing, objections, mapping out daily priorities while, driving, all of these kinds of things are really, kind of, I'm seeing, unutilized uses of AI that I think all of our agents can really, benefit from. So using AI to, give you better ways to, do your business. I want people to start to look at those things, and I want our agents to embrace those things as well going into 26. So, the fifth one, the last one, is consistency is still undefeated. We talk about consistency all the time. You're probably sick of me, saying you have to be consistent, you have to be consistent, you have to be consistent. But it is the undefeated champ. And so as trends change, consistency is always, that stays the same. If you are consistent in what you do, whatever it is, That's what brings the business, right? So the difference between good agents and great agents has always been simple. Great agents do daily what good agents do occasionally. And I want you to think about that one more time. Great agents do daily what good agents do occasionally. So let that sink in. So consistency in your database, it is not negotiable. It is something that you need to work on every week. New contacts should be added every single week. That's your business. That's how you build your business into 26, into 27, into 28. So regular communication that provides value, like a deal of the week email. Just started doing that with Jeff Brown. This is something that just popped up. Those are the kinds of things that build familiarity and trust over time. Consistency on social media matters. That also, the really interesting thing about social media consistency is their algorithms are they're set up to reward reliability, not just, oh, here's a couple things, and then a couple weeks later, here's something. That consistency is what the algorithm picks up on, and then they start to boost your information to more people because they know that they want to convey to, just talk about Instagram. Instagram knows that if they tap into your feed, which is consistent, that's going to be better for their constituents, right? So super, super important to be very consistent with everything you do, social media especially. So, two quality posts a week done for a year, that'll outperform a daily post for a month, followed by silence, right? And then finally, consistency in conversations is the foundation of everything. We always talk about the fact that about, on average, 50 real estate conversations will lead to one deal. So being consistent with these conversations is so important, right? So you want to track how many real estate related conversations you have every day, every week, because what we track, we always see improvement in. And when you're tracking things, and you look at them, it's glaring how it stares back at you, and you get that information. So, these conversations, they always lead to appointments. Appointments lead to contracts. Contracts lead to closings. It's just that simple. So when you commit to the conversations, all the results after that, they take care of themselves. So that is what I want everybody to be thinking about going into 26. These are trends. These are, things that build momentum. Momentum is what, feeds your business. And when you have momentum, and we've all felt it in certain, ways in our businesses, but that momentum carries so much weight, and it's like a snowball rolling down the hill, right? You're picking up extra snow, you're getting bigger, you're getting more powerful, and you are becoming, an entity within yourself and within your business. So Bill, what do you any takeaways from today's momentum building webinar?
Man, there's a ton in there, really. I mean, it's another one that you might want to go back and watch again because there is a lot of information. I love the story marketing. Uh, would love to see if it's possible how agents are using the story marketing. I know you said that the just sold, not just the just sold stuff, which obviously has been the kind of the dinosaur legacy way of sending out direct mail, but the story marketing is very intriguing. It reminds me of that gentleman that we knew. They had the marketing company, and it was called Story Marketing. It was what was his name, Breton or uh he was out of Arizona. But anyways, that was another
Oh, Benton,
Benton
JT,
JT,
right?
yeah. He had
Yeah.
story marketing, right? And
Uh-huh.
everything, all the marketing was about creating a story. And we know that works because people connect with stories. People understand, can, can relate to stories. And so that is really good. I like the lighthouse as the guidance, being the guidance and not being the, braggadocious, look at me, a realtor. I like the trust, the humility, and the gratitude method is much more effective. People will see you for being a real person, for genuine service, and that's gonna relate to everybody, and you're gonna get repeat business from that. That's 100%. Um, and people like to talk. If you do a great job, your neighbor is going to they're going to brag about you as the agent that did the amazing job, right? And so it goes hand in glove, right? You do a great job, your client's going to be nothing but, they're going to tell their friends about you. So you're going to get that business, that referral business.
Yeah, you don't have to brag about yourself. You can get other
No,
people to brag for you.
that's the ticket. And then AI, obviously, like we all are facing this together. AI is a new thing. It's a new and it's evolving daily, weekly, monthly, and it's gonna be with us forever at this point. And we need to evolve with it in some capacity. Does it weird me out sometimes? It does. I'll just be honest. I'm not I haven't adopted it a ton yet. I still like to write. I still like to write things and use my brain to write things. So I'll have to struggle with that as well. Like all the Broker Tuesday tips, they're all written. I sit there and I write them myself. So I will struggle with that a little bit, I'm sure. And then lastly, consistency is undefeated. I love that. It's like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym one week and then skip 3 weeks and come back and look in the mirror like, oh, look at my results. No, you got to go.
Not working, right? Working out doesn't work, right?
Yeah, consistency is the key. Anybody that knows or can relate to a gym or walking or any exercise, that is just a fact. And there's a bunch of other great stuff that you went through, Kevin. I did notice Teresa Maetas joined us. So, Dawn, I saw that in the chat. So, welcome, Teresa. Want to make sure we recognize you. Thank you for being on the webinar this morning. And then lastly, Kevin, are we going to add in that article that was, I think it was from RSI Media.
Yeah, I can put that on the replay.
So anyways, I read this article from RSI Media. They're basically all things real estate. And it's a good little read if we can put that in the link just for the replay. You guys can all take a look at it. But it talks about we talked about the Altos forecast. They have their own forecasting in there, which pretty much, mimic or parallels Altos forecast. So, and they talk about the agents that, real estate's been tough the last few years. I mean, it's been tough for mortgage professionals. It's been tough for agents. Um, you know, and those that have persevered or are still in the industry really stand to reap the benefits of the additional transactions that are coming our way. And they really pose it as the next 3 years are going to be strong years in real estate as it gets back to some normalcy, as the rates start getting back into a more advantageous range for the buyers. We might not see the crazy appreciation, but I think that's they talk about it's a healthier market, but it's a great read. It's take you 2 or 3 minutes. I encourage you guys, if we can get that on the link, Kevin, to read that. And then once again, just the reminder for next week, forms training, invite your TCs, invite a friend, and friends are welcome here on these webinars. You don't have to be with us. We're happy to have anybody that wants to come enjoy the content that we're doing every Wednesday. But next week will be one you won't want to miss. So TCs and yourself, please be there, and we'll have a little review of what's changed in the world of forms in California real estate.
Yep, I love that. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Bill. Love the insights as usual. With that said, agents, get out there, make this a great day, a great week, a productive week, and we're excited to see everybody on the Wednesday webinar next week. Have a good day. Bye-bye.